Hey there, everybody. Justin Holland here with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. We've got another show for you to bring up some value and topics regarding the insurance industry. Going to go over those topics in a minute, and then we'll dive into them. But we can't thank you enough for joining us today. We're doing this every week where we talk everything insurance. We have guests sometimes that join us. We're actually going to have a guest next week. Sanitas Medical Centers is going to join me. So we're pretty excited about that. We're going to talk to Dr. Beck there and talk about their expansion into the San Antonio market. So that's going to be pretty cool there that we're looking forward to. But again, my name's Justin Holland with the Mad Insurance Show. I've got a brokerage here named Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. Both divisions either handle individual health insurance and Medicare. Other one, really focuses on life insurance, long-term care, and Social Security support and analysis. But we're here to help you with everything health insurance because it's that time of year right now where everybody's looking at their health insurance options, whether it be individually, Medicare for seniors, or the employee benefits. We're working a lot of employee benefit renewals right now, and it's been an interesting year, that I can assure you. And we're going to dive in. I'm going to change up the way I had this scheduled on the show. I think we're going to dive into the Medicare first because that has been nonstop since October 15th when the annual enrollment period started. And our phone has been blowing up with existing clients and those referred to us. Maybe we weren't able to help them earlier this year until this time of year. So we're looking at options for a lot of individuals that are either aging into Medicare or currently a Medicare eligible, and it's just time to switch plans or take a look at their plans. A lot of people are losing their health insurance plans or their prescription drug plans. Had a lady, actually, an old friend, reach out to me a few days ago, and she's like, "Justin, I've been meaning to reach out to you. I got this notice from the carrier that she had, and that carrier was removing the Medicare Advantage plan that she's on." And I was like, "Okay, no problem. We're going to be able to help you out with that, and take a look at the fact that you're losing your current Medicare plan, and it actually can be a good thing. We're going to shop the other carriers that they have access to, or she has access to, but also she's going to get an opportunity to get a guaranteed issue opportunity for a Medicare medical supplement." And I want to dive into that a little bit because a lot of individuals will want a Medicare supplement after the fact that they've got a Medicare Advantage plan, but underwriting restrictions apply. I printed this out for the show on my notes, and basically it's the questions, the Medicare knockout questions that individuals would need to answer typically no to and not get disqualified for a Medicare medical supplement. But back to what I'm talking with this in particular client, she's got a Medicare Advantage plan, and that plan is going away. So we're going to look at other Medicare Advantage plans, or we're also going to look at her getting a standalone Medicare medical supplement, more than likely a Plan G or a Plan N, and that will cover everything that Medicare does not, A and B does not on her original Medicare, and except for a deductible. So she'd pay her monthly premium on that supplement plan, and sometimes those premiums can be high depending on your age, but she's going to have an opportunity for us to entertain that. Why would she consider that? Well, the fact that she's going to have the freedom and flexibility with the Medicare network. If she's got Medicare A, she's got Medicare B, she's going to be able to see the any doctor she wants with that Medicare medical supplement with it that accepts Medicare. And when you have a Medicare Advantage plan, a managed care plan, you're subject to the network of that carrier. So you're restricted there. But with a supplement plan like what we're discussing, you've got some flexibility there. Perfect example. I've got a family member that had a heart situation, open heart surgery back in 2020, and it was a scary time. It was you had COVID going on, you had restrictions at doctor's office, but this family member, we got them on a supplement plan, a Medicare medical supplement, and not a managed care or Medicare Advantage plan. So we were able to see or he was able to see any doctor in the network. Okay. No restrictions. As long as they accepted Medicare, we got them in there. So you had access to the best doctors and care that you could afford with that supplement plan. And having that supplement plan gives you some peace of mind where you're not having to worry about referrals or, God forbid there's a cancer diagnosis and you want to go to MD Anderson. They're not going to accept the Medicare Advantage plans. Maybe if you've got Medicaid and you're on a dual plan, that could be some case there, or just a full fledged Medicaid eligible. I don't know the restrictions there at MD Anderson on that, but typically when you've got serious medical conditions and you want that freedom and flexibility of just utilizing original Medicare and a supplement, that's the way to go. I will tell you, when you have the right health insurance in plan a plan in place, and you got some serious medical conditions that you're either battling for yourself, could be a child, a loved one, or family member in your household, it's empowering when you have a great insurance plan, knowing that you're going to be able to see the best doctors. You're not going to be restricted by networks in most cases. That's something that has been fulfilling in my journey as an insurance broker in this industry, is helping people when they've got some serious medical situations coming up. It's not, or currently, at that time. It's not just about planning ahead, which you want to. And we want to prepare our clients to be prepared for a serious medical situation. God forbid that happens. But when you have the right health insurance, or when we're able to pivot you into the right health insurance plan, it just gives you a better shot, I think, in surviving or tackling that medical situation that you're up against. Because when you have access to the right doctors and the best doctors, man, that's gonna be very empowering for any individual that's facing some serious, medical conditions with the right coverage. But Medicare is a big topic going on right now, and loss of plans is a big deal. People are getting their notices, "Hey, this plan's going away." Texas State Insurance Services, just remember, we're able to help you with that. We can, help you look at your current Medicare Advantage plan, your supplement plan on the medical side, and your prescription drug supplement. Shop the medications because the formularies are going to be different from every carrier. Something that I also wanted to talk about with the show, and we touched a little bit on it a moment ago, is probably this Saturday, we are going to be able to look at what the rates are going to look like for the individual health insurance marketplace. They call it window shopping. And I'm actually pretty anxious about that, to see what the individual plans look like. First off, what carriers are offering coverage, what coverage they're offering, what those costs look like, because we've got a lot of individuals that might have gone to a silver or a gold tier level plan, a more benefit rich plan, and we might need to consider a bronze plan or an expanded bronze plan that's going to have higher deductibles and higher maximums, still provide some copays, hopefully, but keep those premiums in check with the increases that we're anticipating for the Affordable Care Act plans. I did talk to a couple of my carriers. It looks like we're going to see some HSA eligible options. I've got a handful of clients, that want to engage in HSA, having a health savings account where they can actually. It's a beautiful thing. Actually, I'll probably do a segment on HSAs on a show here in a few weeks. Health savings account, I think, the premiums have gone up on those plans, and it just didn't justify the savings. And there's a lot of people that just can't, you know, afford to put money away in a health savings account as well as pay their premium for their health insurance plan. So I'm hoping that HSAs could make a comeback with the disruptions that we could be seeing in price increases, to where at least you've got coverage for a catastrophic medical situation. And we're going to be really adamant on reaching out to those clients that called us this year that missed their open enrollment period. Maybe they had a medical emergency come up and they had not decided to get individual health insurance, and they're realizing the importance of that. I did have a potential client call a few weeks ago, from the hospital. They're like, "Justin, I need health insurance. I'm in the hospital. What can you do?" And I was like, "Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. We have to wait until November, December to be able to shop the insurance plans that you'll be able to get effective January 1st. Needless to say, that's not what the news they wanted to hear, but that's outside of getting employed by a company that was going to offer health insurance. That was their only option. And you can't get employed typically when you're sitting in the hospital. So that was a tough call, and we see a lot of that over the years. And we're doing our best to make sure to reach out to everybody and make sure they're prepared for this new year. I think we're going to see a significant disruption in health insurance. So the sooner you can reach out to us to review your Medicare options, your individual health insurance, or your employee benefits or individual benefits for your employees, we'd love to help do that review. And it'll be nonstop going into this November and December for January effectives. But we're up for the challenge, and we're looking forward to visiting with you. We've got a lot of clients that are reaching out, trying to get scheduled on the books, and at the same time, we're making time for new clients and referrals that are wanting to engage us for their health insurance review, and we'd love to help you out. Again, it's Justin Holland with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. We're so glad you joined us, and we're wrapping up the show today. But you can reach us at the office with any questions that you might have for us at 210-880-5316 or online at txstateinsurance.com. We're thankful you joined us for today's show, and we'll talk again next week with our special guest. Take care, everybody. And this is an interesting time, so you want to make sure you don't sleep on this opportunity to change plans or know if your plan's going away. So I think a lot of individuals are not going to check their notices and realize that their prescription drug plan or their Medicare Advantage plan is going away, and they need to make a change. So make sure you reach out to us at Texas State Insurance Services. That number is 210-880-5316. Or you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. That TX is abbreviated. We'd love to help you out. Complete a contact form and let us know what you're up against, and we'll schedule a time. Now, I will tell you, I am personally visiting with and taking every call this year. Okay, we're not pawning it off to another agent. I'm going in head first into this open enrollment to really get a hands-on look at the disruption we're seeing on the individual ACA plans, the Medicare Advantage plans, or the Medicare Supplement and prescription drug plans, as well as the employee benefits. So, I am going to be a busy guy this fall. So make sure you schedule a time with us, sooner than later. We've got a lot of existing clients that are already reached out to us and wanting to get on the books and do a review. We've got a lot of automation. We can size up the situation for most people within about 15 minutes, as long as we've got the data, the prescription drug, the medications that everybody's taking, the doctors that you want to continue seeing, and the demographics of where you live, zip code, and all of that. We can help you size up your health insurance options really quickly and give you some peace of mind and give you a roadmap on what the best carrier might be. But so don't think you got to spend an hour or hours at a time. We're really trying to streamline this because so many people are getting disrupted. But we're here to help you out. Just give us a call or send us a message online, and we'd love to help you out. And that's, again, one of the reasons why we have the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance, is so we can get some awareness out there. Many people didn't realize that their plan could be going away. A lot of individuals don't realize that the formularies are changing on their prescription drug coverage, and you got to be prepared for that. But the example I just gave a minute ago is for a lady that reached out regarding her individual Medicare Advantage plan going away, and she's got some options, and some of those might be a good option for her, despite having a little bit of cost there. But we're anxious to talk to everybody and see what we can do to help. So I brought up that scenario of the loss of the Medicare Advantage plan. Let's talk about original Medicare and the difference between that being on original Medicare or getting on a Medicare medical supplement and a separate prescription drug supplement. So I've got a fact sheet that I put together, or actually I pulled it from CMS regarding the two main pathways with Medicare enrollment. You really got two options outside of maybe having a military, VA, or TRICARE benefit, or maybe a pension plan or a teacher's retirement or state retirement that handles your Medicare. Those are definitely scenarios where you've got credible coverage already. Um, or maybe you continue working. You're continue to work, and you're not sure if you want to continue working and stay on the employee benefits plan that you have access to, or go full fledged Medicare. That is a case by case basis off of that. But let's dive into just the main pathways on Medicare enrollment. Those two options, outside of the other coverage you could have access to. You've got original Medicare A, which can be your doctors, the heavy, lifting situations of the hospitals, medical facilities, surgeries, serious stuff off of that. If you're hospitalized, that's where Medicare A comes in, and it's typically going to be at no cost. Your Part B is going to be your day-to-day doctor care, has some durable medical equipment, and that's going to cover the day-to-day of your health insurance. And the Medicare B, in most cases, is gonna have a cost to it, and that cost will vary depending on your income. Now, you don't wanna just have Medicare A and B in most cases. You typically want to have an option 1, which would be a standalone prescription drug plan because Medicare requires you to take on credible prescription drug coverage. You might not take any medications, I understand that, but you still need to have a prescription drug plan in place. And then you will have a Medicare medical supplement plan, okay, which would have another additional cost to that. And that is going to complement your Medicare A and B and basically cover pretty much anything that comes up medically except for a deductible. I think the deductible is $268 right now. That could be increasing. I want to double check what's coming out with those numbers, but a couple $100 deductible is reasonable if you think about it in the grand scheme of things in the cost of health insurance. And you've got some peace of mind. Once you hit that deductible, you just keep on paying your monthly premium to your Part B. That could be deducted out of your Social Security. If you're not drawing Social Security, then that could be, deducted out of your checking or savings account. Um, and then you've got your standalone prescription drug plan that's going to pick up any medications. There are some zero cost plans that are subsidized and could be a zero cost for you depending on your financial situation. And a lot of times, that is a good option or one of the better options for the clients that we take care of to take on. But you've got original Medicare, Medicare supplement plan for the medical, prescription drug plan for the prescription drugs. Those will vary by carrier to carrier, case by case basis. Again, we'd love to help shop those for you at Texas State Insurance Services. The other alternative are Medicare Advantage plans, Part C. This, in most cases, is where you're getting mailers. You're seeing people give a Part B give back. They'll give you some money back on your Part B, or basically deposit that in so you don't get too much sting on that Part B premium that could be deducted already your Social Security or out of your checking account. But these Medicare Advantage plans, you see a lot of promotion on. Those are the ones you're seeing on the TV commercials. You're seeing in the mailers and then a lot of agencies and brokers promote them. We have a lot of clients that are on Medicare Advantage plans, and those Medicare Advantage plans do a good job for them. But make no mistake, Medicare Advantage plans are basically managing your Medicare A and B for you. So ultimately, what's happening is the carriers have an agreement with Medicare and the government on these plans, and say, "Hey, listen, we're going to manage the Medicare A and B for our for the insureds or for these Medicare eligibles on behalf of Medicare." Now, you're going to be subject to that carrier's network. Okay. So, particular doctors might be in network, particular specialists that you want to see, or even facilities might not be in network, and you might have to change those. So, you're restricted to that. What's the trade off on the managed care? In most cases, a very low or no premium on these plans, and they're going to include your managed care of your Medicare A and B, zero or very low copays on the doctors. Basically, they copay everything out for a hospital stay or a maybe an inpatient outpatient situation, and you know exactly what you're going to pay for procedures. However, it's got also prescription drug coverage in those plans, and it will typically have dental, vision, maybe hearing benefits, over the counter options as well. Sometimes you'll see these plans have very generous dental plans on there as well. So the um, the dental plans I've seen anywhere from $20,000 in coverage to, 2,000 or $1,500. It just varies on the plan. But a lot of individuals decide to go Medicare Advantage or their managed care flat out for the cost. They don't want to pay any more on top of their Medicare Part B premiums that are coming out. And I understand that because the costs are going up. Medicare Part B premiums are increasing, and the deductibles getting up there. Some of these plans are changing their formularies on prescription drugs. So one medication that you weren't having to pay much for, you might be having to pay more for this coming up year. So significant disruptions that we're seeing regarding Medicare, and we want to ensure our clients on the implications on what could be changing for their providers, or specialists that they're seeing in the network. So check your mail, reach out to us to visit about your health insurance plans, and we love to help you out. And Medicare has opened up already. Don't think you need to make a immediate change or do a complete review and make a decision. There's a lot of changes here. So, we don't want to rush through it. We can help size up the situation very quickly. Well, like I mentioned, about 15 to 20 minutes, getting a list of medications from you, doctors, and we can very quickly see that. But just because we take that analysis, you might want to sit on it. You might be wanting to change doctors as well. So maybe you change a medical group that could tilt you to another plan that you might want to consider as well. That could be more beneficial going into 2026 for the new year. We've discussed original Medicare, discussed the cancellation of plans that we're seeing on the Medicare insureds, losing plans on their Medicare Advantage plans or seeing modifications on their standalone prescription drug plans. We discussed the scenario a minute ago about how a Medicare medical supplement might be an opportunity if you're losing your Medicare Advantage plan without any underwriting decisions. I have many clients that would love to be on a Medicare medical supplement, but they wouldn't pass underwriting. And the only opportunities they had was because, like we mentioned, they basically lost their Medicare Advantage plan. So this is a critical time to possibly make some very important decisions on where you're going to be in your Medicare plans that supplement your Medicare A and B. Again, you're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. My name's Justin Holland with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. We're real excited for you to join us on today's show. We've been talking a little bit, kicking off the show about Medicare. That's a hot topic right now for everybody as the annual enrollment period's going on. If you need help on your Medicare plans or your individual health or employee benefits, give us a call. 210-880-5316 is the direct line phone number there. I want to remind our listeners that we have a weekly workshop. I am personally a registered Social Security analyst and RSSA. We've got some really cool tools to be able to help our individuals that maybe are turning 65 and engaging Medicare, and they haven't yet engaged their Social Security yet, and they want to do some optimization. They want to take a look at how they can maximize their Social Security benefits while looking in to their Medicare. But these workshops that we're having every week are located at our Stone Oak location in the North San Antonio area. If you can't make it in person, we'd love to have you, join us remotely or online. Let us know, and we can get a link lined up for you. These are Wednesdays at 12 noon every Wednesday. And if for some reason, 12 noon on Wednesdays don't work for you, give us a call anyway, and we'll schedule a one-on-one visit by phone, video chat, or at the office at one of our locations. We've got 4 locations in San Antonio that we can visit at. We're trying to make it as convenient as possible. But I will tell you, for the sake of time, we're knocking out a lot of phone calls and a lot of online video visits just to size up your situation quickly, see what your Medicare plan scenario looks like, see what your individual health and plans are going to look like, because there's a lot of changes going on. So we'd love to have you join us at our weekly luncheon if you can make it. Reach out to us for details off of that. If you've got a large company and you need us to come out to the work site or multiple locations, we do that for many local businesses where we can go on site and help out with Social Security analysis, Medicare reviews for those that are eligible, as well as individual health insurance reviews where maybe the group health insurance plan is just too expensive for the employees to add their spouses, family members, children, one or the other, or both. There is a situation called the family glitch on individual health insurance where we can actually help you get those family members on more affordable coverage. That has been a huge benefit for employees that just couldn't put their loved ones on the plan with them because of the cost. And I will tell you, I see a lot of employees forfeit their health insurance coverage because they're like, "Hey, if I can't, get my rest of my family insured affordably, I don't need to be on this plan either." And we want to keep people from having that. We want to make sure that you see the options, and we can absolutely look at scenarios where it's unaffordable to add the family members and children, and a lot of times we're successful in getting affordable coverage for them. So let us know how we can help. Visit us on our website, txstateinsurance.com, or you can always call us at 210-880-5316. So let's keep on going with the show. One of the topics that I wanted to bring up today was employee benefits. And the small group sector of health insurance or employee benefits is going through some challenges right now. You're limited on what you can offer. And let's just talk, from 2 employees to 20 employees. I want to dive into that real quick. And I saw an article come over from United Healthcare on something that we got emailed, and it brought up the fact of fully insured health insurance and converting to a level funded option, or switching to another option from fully insured. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of times when they call us, maybe they've got a new business or they're looking at offering a health insurance offering to their employees. A lot of times it's fully insured. That's the only option or the way to go. And that fully insured is basically going to be based on everybody's ages, and they average that together, and that creates these premiums for the plans. You can do a good, better, and best plan, or a good and better, or just have one plan offering, at your discretion. Sometimes the carriers can limit you on how many health insurance options you provide or offer your employees, depending on the size group. But fully insured health insurance is it's similar to the ACA rates that you see on the marketplace. They're based on age, and the premiums are what they are, and those premiums do go up. As we get a year older, the premium should be going up because there's a higher risk there, but fully insured is really only on a handful of carriers. Okay. And sometimes those premiums, even if you have a young population, they're just not as aggressive as you'd like them to be. Because in most cases, the group benefits provider or the employer is going to help subsidize or contribute to that health insurance premium. And maybe it's too expensive for them as well, not just the employee. So we've got to analyze that. We do these reviews to see what's going to work best or the options on the health insurance. But there's level funded situations and scenarios where the fully insured might not be the best way to go. Fully insured premiums, the carrier assumes all the risk. The alternative model might give a little bit more risk to the employer of the plan. The potential cost savings could be significant in some cases on looking at level funded options. And that's basically gonna be based on the risk that they see when they take a look at the employees that could be on the plan or coverage. If everything checks out and nothing, red flags those or the carrier on saying, "Hey, this is a pretty healthy group," we're gonna give them some more aggressive, premiums to be able to engage them and write that business with them. And over the years, some carriers other than that, better than others, have provided some exceptional savings for our groups and their employees. And sometimes those savings sticks around for 2 to 3 to 5 years, and sometimes it doesn't because maybe there's a large claimant that finally hits, or a shock claim situation that hits that small group plan that can increase that premium. And then we look back again at fully insured health insurance. But it's been a breath of fresh air when we have those options to where the carrier will actually say, "Hey, we think y'all got a pretty healthy group. We're gonna give you some more aggressive premiums." Just to throw an example out there, let's say the premiums are typically $500 or $600 for a reasonable entry level employee benefits health insurance plan. Maybe a level funded comes in at 360, 380, or 400. Still, 100 something dollars in difference that can really add up depending on the group, okay, of the plan, not just for the company that's helping bankrolling or subsidizing that cost of the health insurance, but the employee as well. So we want to make sure that we provided some insight on level funded plans, because if it's a pretty healthy group and the risk isn't there, the carriers are going to reward you from that. And not to get in too technical on that plans, but sometimes you get some money back. You get rebated back if the plan didn't hit any thresholds on claims. We have many clients that get a check back from the carrier, and that's nice. Especially if you've got a reasonable premium and you're still getting money back. That's been uh, that's been well received from our small group clients that we help out with their employee benefits. So if you've got a small company, anywhere from that, I would say 2 to 50 range, but typically 2 to 20 is where we can really make some of these plans sing and provide some value for the employees, and give you some peace of mind as a business owner that you're able to offer the employees some exceptional health insurance coverage. Now, I think things are changing. We're seeing a lot of heavy increases, sometimes on the level funded plans or these fully insured. I'd mentioned this on the past couple shows. I think we're going to witness a reset in the health insurance. I think something's going to break at some point, because you've got so many changes and stress on the Medicare part of the industry. For seniors, you've got a lot of disruption coming with the Affordable Care Act. We know the plans are going to increase collectively for everybody. We know that as of right now, the expanded tax credits are expiring at the end of the year, and that helped out millions of people with reasonable coverage to protect their families. So those are two avenues that are also affecting the group benefits side of the business, because let's face it, these carriers have these divisions, whether it be Medicare, individual health, or group benefits. They are for profit. They're trying to earn money for these companies, and if they lose it on one sector, they might need to make it up, on another sector. So interesting times, no doubt, for the health insurance industry. It's keeping us on our toes as well as our clients. So we want to make sure we look at all the options for your group benefits for your employees. And maybe you don't even want to offer a health insurance plan. You're like, Justin, hey, we just want to offer some ancillary benefits, dental or vision, maybe long-term care options, or a long-term disability or short-term disability. Life insurance is huge that you can offer. Give us a call. We'd be happy to review, some ancillary benefits to either complement the health insurance you're offering your company now, or you just say, "Hey, we want to offer these benefits. It was just out of budget to offer health insurance or subsidize that with our company or in our employees, but we would like to contribute to a dental, vision, maybe some disability options as well." Been very popular in doing that with small businesses, because sometimes these small businesses just can't compete with how the marketplace plans are or were affordable, prior to this fall that we're seeing. There were groups that we would dismantle their group health insurance portion of the benefits offering, because it was just that much more affordable for the employees to get on the individual plans versus the group health insurance. So that's something to keep in mind off of that as well. But let's keep on going. This is the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. My name's Justin Holland with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. Texas State Insurance Services helps out with individual health, Medicare plans for seniors, as well as small group insurance benefits plans for businesses. Let's keep on talking about employee benefits and some another topic that I had put together. Excuse me, regarding we had just talked about, fully insured, level funded options off of that. Let's talk about what we're expecting, or another disruption that we're seeing. Let's talk about individual health insurance and Medicare. Something that you need to know that some agents and brokers are bringing to light is the insurance carriers are in some cases no longer compensating brokers for their assistance in getting or guiding individuals into the health insurance plan they might need. And where we're seeing this specifically is the Medicare industry. We just got word that the Affordable Care Act, the individual plans, some carriers are making that call yesterday. Still getting some details on that, but I think it's important for us to bring up that your insurance agent, and we're included in this situation, and being a broker, might not be compensated for the plan that they help you get enrolled with and or already enrolled in. They're just stopping compensation to us, and we feel that's pretty unfair. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it, but we're trying to figure out ways to where we can at least cover our cost, our time, money, and effort, and the value we're bringing to the individuals that we speak to daily. And so, just don't be surprised if you see brokers or agents say, "Hey, I can't help you on your prescription drug review." We're not going to get paid by the carriers, and we can't take on that time. You need to go do this on your own. Now, that's going to vary. We're having to analyze that and see what type of model we might do on if this gets really serious to where we're no longer compensated by the insurance carriers. And I think we provide some exceptional value here. I can't tell you the phone calls, multiple calls, and follow-ups we do for our clients that might have an issue with their insurance company, whether it be a claim, taking care of a premium. Sometimes you change bank accounts and you're having issues with that. There's endless situations where you need your agent to come in and help. And I just don't know how that's going to shake out over the years or going into this year with the carriers that are no longer going to basically honor a commission or a compensation to us, the broker, while we're servicing you, the client, with the plans. Because there's a lot of confusion out there. Most people, after we wrap up a Medicare review specifically, or even small group or individual health insurance, are like, Justin, thank you. We didn't know the difference between these deductibles and the out-of-pocket maximums and the co-insurance, and we didn't realize that carriers have different formularies, and they'll cover some medications a specific way versus another carrier. There are so many scenarios that need to be played out. And if you're not utilizing an agent that's either whether they're a new agent and they've got support from a veteran brokerage agency out there, which is great because listen, I was that guy first getting into this business and industry, and you're trying to figure it out. I really didn't have that mentorship. I kind of had to do trial and error, read a lot, take on these plans, and then go through 12 years of the Affordable Care Act, Medicare, and individual health insurance plans, as well as group benefits, and kind of bring in all that knowledge together. And it's paid off. And it hasn't just paid off for us on becoming a valued broker, but it's paid off for the people that we help. So I just wanted to make sure I dive into that a little bit on the show because we are concerned. We're building a small business here. We feel that we're providing some exceptional value to those that use us to shop their health insurance plans and do that annually. And when the carriers are starting to basically say, "Hey, we want you to do this work for free," that's going to cause a disruption. That's going to cause maybe some pain points for those that really count on an individual and professional to help them review their health insurance. And Texas State Insurance Services is here. I think we're going to weather. these changes, for other brokers, I don't know. I think you're going to see a disruption. You probably could see people exiting this industry, saying, "Hey, listen, this is just too much. We're expected to get paid, nothing for the products and services." Well, maybe there's some products and services that we do offer that we do get compensated, and we've got to leverage that as well. That's some of the ways that we're looking at that. And I wanted to make sure we bring this up to our listeners, because I see a disruption, not just from the insurance carriers to the end consumer, but that end consumer, losing a dependable agent, or broker that has shopped them and shopped the plans and helped them over the years, not being able to help them anymore. But Texas State Insurance Services is here to help you. Give us a call at 210-880-5316, and we'd love to visit with you about your health insurance options for you yourself, whether that's individual plans on the marketplace that are seeing some changes, Medicare plans for seniors, or employee benefits for small businesses and large businesses. One of the things that I also wanted to bring up again on the show, we are helping a lot of people out with life insurance. Had lunch with a client today, a longtime client, that is looking at their long term care situation. And they're like, Justin, I don't want to disrupt our lifestyle or our family. God forbid I have a long term care situation that comes up. So we analyzed the health insurance situation for them on that, with their family, and what they needed there, specifically for him. He's kind of the patriarch of the family, and a lot of people depend on him. And we are looking at a couple scenarios to protect from that long term care situation. Okay, if you haven't had a family member or a loved one that's had a long term care situation, or you've had to care for somebody, it's a sobering situation. It can be expensive. It can be time consuming. It can emotionally break you down. It can be really tough. So the sooner you can plan and prepare for long term care needs, the better. I got news for everybody. We are absolutely living longer lives, but we're not necessarily living healthier lives. And most people that are listening to the show, or seeing our videos that we post online from the show, you're going to have a long-term care situation at some point, and you need to make sure that you're protected. And that can be done with a standalone long-term care insurance plan, or life insurance that has what's called living benefits, and can really help in those same similar scenarios that you would engage in a long-term care situation. I want to talk about some of those living benefit triggers in this quick segment of the show. And let's dive into that. So we've got a few carriers that we offer life insurance with, and we have a division for that. Palmetto Life Group is where we help out with life insurance, long term care planning, as well as Social Security analysis, with being a registered Social Security analyst here in town. But also, we've added auto and home, and umbrella to help you out personally as well. So we're excited about that. But back to the life insurance through Palmetto Life Group, we've got carriers that are going to cover not just the death benefit, but they're going to cover a terminal illness. Okay. That terminal illness is going to be able to take care of you if you've got an unexpected, you know, or untimely death that could be coming up within 12 months, with that terminal illness. Um, I've brought this up before. You want to make it sure it's a good day to die. When you have life insurance that's going to be able to allow you to take advantage of a death benefit if you get a terminal illness prior to dying, that's huge. If you have 24 months left to live or less, and you can take some of that death benefit and enjoy it with your family, or make sure you make final preparations, that's empowering. I brought up being empowered earlier in the show. When you have the right health insurance to take care of yourself or your family members when serious medical conditions come up, life insurance out there that has protection for terminal illness, huge rider, embedded in these plans that can really give you some peace of mind. Most health insurance carriers have a terminal illness rider on there. They're going to vary by carrier to carrier, and we can help you review that. Chronic illness is another living benefit that a handful of life insurance carriers have out there for protection. So it's not just, again, about dying. It's about living with a situation where you could come down with a chronic illness and take advantage of the living benefit rider basically take money out of that policy. Doesn't have these are not these can be whole life, or index universal life, permanent lifetime policies, but these term policies have these embedded into them, the terminal and chronic illness. So a chronic illness is basically if you're needing assistance you're needing assistance with six of the daily activities of living, okay? And I'm sorry, the trigger is you need assistance with 2 of your 6, activities of daily living, and those include bathing, continence, dressing, eating, toileting, and transferring. If 2 out of those 6, you need assistance with, that's basically a trigger for a chronic illness. And if you've got the correct policy in place, that's going to come in and give you some peace of mind on that chronic illness. And that's huge. Let me repeat that again. If you need help with 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living, which include bathing, continence, dressing, eating, toileting, and transferring, then that's going to be a trigger for the chronic illness rider of those life insurance policies. Huge benefit off of that. So, and remember, you could be in your 60s, 70s, or 80s with this policy, or you could be in your 30s or 40s, and God forbid, have a terminal or chronic illness that comes in, sooner than later. Now, typically, your chronic illnesses, you see those later in life, but we see that with younger individuals more and more now. And man, quote it. Give us a call at Palmetto Life Group so we can take a look at these life insurance options and help that protection with the living benefits. Let's keep on going. Alzheimer's disease and Lewy body dementia. Got a family member that's having to deal with a loved one that's facing Alzheimer's. It is a tough situation. Okay, very tough. And you when you see that firsthand, you realize how debilitating it can be and how scary it can be. And if you don't have the funds available to really be able to be prepared to help out with that Alzheimer's diagnosis, it can be debilitating. So that's another rider in these life insurance plans that's protected. So on the Alzheimer's rider allows for a payment of any portion of the insured's death benefit on a discounted basis. So if you have a $1 million life insurance policy, 500,000, well, I'm just throwing some numbers out there, you're going to be able to take a discounted portion of that before dying. And that can be huge for family members that are, we're essentially going to have to bankroll the support in that diagnosis as well. So terminal illness, chronic illness, Alzheimer's disease, and the last tier are going to be critical illness and critical injury. So critical illnesses are covered in some of the life insurance plans that we offer, and that is huge. So critically ill or critically injured. Let's talk about some examples of that. ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, aortic graft surgery, blindness, cancers, cystic fibrosis, end stage renal disease. Those are just a handful of the critical illnesses. A heart attack, needing to have a heart valve replacement, a stroke, sudden cardiac arrest. Again, handful of scenarios of critical illness that are covered by a life insurance policy with living benefits. And then we also brought up critical injury. Let's talk about some scenarios of critical injury that would be covered with a life insurance policy with living benefits: coma, paralysis, severe burns, a traumatic brain injury. Now, I will tell you, some carriers can vary state by state on these living benefits, but right off the bat, it bears repeating: terminal illness, chronic illness, Alzheimer's disease, critical illness, and critical injury, all protected within a life insurance policy, not a standalone long term care policy, a life insurance policy for this example. And it can be reasonable and affordable. I kicked off this, scenario that I had lunch with a client to do the analysis and the review, and more than likely because of their age, the standalone long-term care plan is just gonna be a little too more than what they want to spend on that for long-term care. The next best option is life insurance with living benefits, and we can do that on a term basis or a permanent basis that'll protect them for the rest of their lives and give them the peace of mind that their family is not gonna have to stress if they come down with any of these scenarios on the living benefits that I brought up. So, life insurance, really important. Just because you have it or don't have it, I'm gonna say that if you're healthy enough to get life insurance outside of a work policy, get that. And sometimes that could just be a final expense policy to take on, 5,000, $25,000 in expenses and final expenses. Hey, everybody, it costs some money to get us in the dirt and have a funeral and have those final arrangements out there. And you don't want to put that burden on your family. I'll never forget. I had a older lady years ago when we were helping out with life insurance for her. She was like, "Justin, I don't want to be a burden to my family. God forbid something happens to me. I want to have this in place so they don't have to worry about the expense of my burial and my final expenses." It's like, I get it. And that's what most individuals need when they were at her age. She just wanted a policy of final expenses and to be taken care of there. We have other individuals that aren't that older yet, and they need to take care of a mortgage. God forbid something happens to them. There could be debt. There could be business arrangements where you want to. Life insurance is huge on buy sell agreements to where I know for a fact that maybe spouses that are married to individuals in a particular industry might not want to get involved in that business. God forbid something happens to them. Life insurance can be a critical tool in helping with that, with a key person being another example of life insurance for businesses. Maybe you have a valued employee or a key person within a business, and if you lose that individual, it's going to cost some money to find a replacement, to hire more people in place because that individual did the work of 3 to 5 people. Who knows? But that's just another scenario of life insurance off of that. So, not just individually, it can benefit the business part of protection as well. Give us a call. We'd love to help you out with that if you have a moment, and we can talk about that with Palmetto Life Group. And you can visit us at palmettolifegroup.com, fill out our contact form, and we'd love to schedule a time to visit and review life insurance, long term care, Social Security analysis, which has been real popular right now, as well as auto, home, and umbrella. So that wraps up that segment of the show. You're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. I'm your host, Justin Holland, been your host for a few weeks now since we started off the show. It's a solo show today. We'll have a guest with us actually next week that I'm excited about with a local medical clinic that's coming in for individual primary care. So we're excited and looking forward to that. But this show is here to help you review everything insurance. We try to bring value regarding health insurance, auto insurance. We're going to have a show. We've had it on life insurance. We're going to have a show on retirement plans. 401ks. I'm looking at having some payroll companies come on here and even PEOs and talk about those dynamics. So we're trying to look at every aspect of the business and industry, and we're enjoying it. And I can't thank you enough for listening to us today. The number to reach us at, if you're looking at needing help with your health insurance, life insurance, employee benefits, auto and home, or whatever insurance, give us a call at 210-880-5316, or you can also visit our company, TexasStateInsurance.com. TXStateInsurance.com is the website there. More than likely, you'll talk to either me or Lydia, and we'll schedule a time to review and take a look at all your insurance options. And we'd love to do so. So, closing out the show, I got a few more minutes here. We've discussed life insurance. We've discussed the Medicare scenarios that are coming up. We discussed a little bit of the individual health insurance that we're seeing a disruption in. We've talked about employee benefits, the fact that things are changing there on the employee benefits side. We, you know, there's just a lot of chaos going on in the industry right now, and you're probably going to have some questions, and that's why we've got the show. That's why we're hoping you reach out to us online and or by phone, and we can set up a time to review options. Something that I also wanted to talk about with the show, and we touched a little bit on it a moment ago, is probably this Saturday, we are going to be able to look at what the rates are going to look like for the individual health insurance marketplace. They call it window shopping. And I'm actually pretty anxious about that to see what the individual plans look like. First off, what carriers are offering coverage, what coverage they're offering, what those costs look like, because we've got a lot of individuals that might have gone to a silver or a gold tier level plan, a more benefit rich plan, and we might need to consider a bronze plan or an expanded bronze plan that's going to have higher deductibles and higher maximums, still provide some copays, hopefully, but keep those premiums in check with the increases that we're anticipating for the Affordable Care Act plans. I did talk to a couple of my carriers. It looks like we're going to see some HSA eligible options. I've got a handful of clients, that want to engage in HSA, having a health savings account where they can actually. It's a beautiful thing. Actually, I'll probably do a segment on HSAs on a show here in a few weeks. Health savings account, I think the premiums have gone up on those plans, and it just didn't justify the savings. And there's a lot of people that just can't, you know, afford to put money away in a health savings account as well as pay their premium for their health insurance plan. So I'm hoping that HSAs could make a comeback with the disruptions that we could be seeing in price increases to where at least you've got coverage for a catastrophic medical situation. And we're going to be really adamant on reaching out to those clients that called us this year that missed their open enrollment period. Maybe they had a medical emergency come up and they had not decided to get individual health insurance, and they're realizing the importance of that. I did have a potential client call a few weeks ago, from the hospital. They're like, Justin, I need health insurance. I'm in the hospital. What can you do? And I was like, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. We have to wait until November, December to be able to shop the insurance plans that you'll be able to get effective January 1st. Needless to say, that's not what the news they wanted to hear, but that's outside of getting employed by a company that was going to offer health insurance. That was their only option. And you can't get employed typically when you're sitting in the hospital. So that was a tough call, and we see a lot of that over the years. And we're doing our best to make sure to reach out to everybody and make sure they're prepared for this new year. I think we're going to see a significant disruption in health insurance. So the sooner you can reach out to us to review your Medicare options, your individual health insurance, or your employee benefits or individual benefits for your employees, we'd love to help do that review. And it'll be nonstop going into this November and December for January effectives. But we're up for the challenge, and we're looking forward to visiting with you. We've got a lot of clients that are reaching out, trying to get scheduled on the books, and at the same time, we're making time for new clients and referrals that are wanting to engage us for their health insurance review, and we'd love to help you out. Again, it's Justin Holland with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. We're so glad you joined us, and we're wrapping up the show today. But you can reach us at the office with any questions that you might have for us at 210-880-5316 or online at txstateinsurance.com. We're thankful you joined us for today's show, and we'll talk again next week with our special guest. Take care, everybody.